Okay, go ahead. The horrors of war are unimaginable for the victims and truly for the warriors. A quote from Jordon that allows us to understand that although the people who fight the wars are often overlooked, sometimes they are the most damaged by this. We're going to focus in on a specific war today, and that is the one that's happening in Libya with Muammar Gaddafi. We're going to look at his troops and some of the things that have happened to the troops, exactly how we can rehab them, and some preventative measures that we can take to stop this from happening in the future. But first, let us look at what has happened. One of the most atrocious things that has happened is Gaddafi has issued out Viagra to his troops in order for them to rape the villages and the towns, people, men, women, children of Libya.
What?
They do this in order to maintain fear over their people. The biggest tool in war and to keep people submissive and in a sheep-like state is fear. So this is one of the biggest reasons why they do that. Another thing that is happening is Gaddafi is enforcing guerrilla tactics. Now, I'm not sure if you guys have heard of this before, but guerrilla tactics are anything very gruesome in war. You know, they use sabotage, they use poison, they use ambush, anything that's very gruesome. The Americans encountered this first in Vietnam. They saw this with the Asian people who would do anything from strapping bombs to infants, little babies like infants, and they would throw them into a crowd, and these babies would explode. Now, if you are not physically damaged from this, the mental scarring from this has to be out of this world. Now, yes, let us move on. I have not been keeping up with my slides. But yes, we see that these are the soldiers that he's using for this, and some of them are barefoot. They have no concept of anything that is right. They're just brainwashed by Gaddafi at this point. Another thing is that they murder in cold blood. You know, they're rejoicing in it. They rejoice in the previous slide. Yeah, they rejoice in murdering in cold blood children, women, anyone who Gaddafi orders them to. And the sad thing about it is they're just following orders. You know, these people are as young as 15. They don't know any better. They're in this country, they grew up here, and Gaddafi is telling them to do something, and they're following out their orders. Now, we can move on to our next slide, and we're going to see how we can use physical therapy tactics and therapy tactics from these two countries to help this one. Now, the next slide that we're going to see shows some examples of physical therapy, because we want to start with the physical. Now, these people would be hurt. They would be having to relearn how to walk. They would have to relearn how to train their legs and their muscles and anything that would get their bodies and their fluids flowing again, because they have been in a wartime situation. You know, and all of these methods that come from America and the British people would help them with this type of a thing without physical therapy. We also have to look at mentally, and this is a very big deal. Mentally, these people are damaged. So they'll have psychiatrists and psychologists on hand to help these people repair their relationships. You know, they've been issued out Viagra in order to rape people. You know, they have to rebuild their relationships with women and with people of the world, period. They have to understand how to interact again, because they've really turned into savages. And finally, emotionally. They have to be prepared emotionally because they're numb. When they're in a wartime situation like this, they're just numb. They're going out slashing people's necks, and after so long, they get numb to it, and they're just doing anything. So let us look at some preventative measures to stop this guy who is Muammar Gaddafi. Clearly, the only way to stop these things from happening and these practices are to prevent them. We see that Gaddafi has no regard for human life or for the lives of his soldiers. He uses them as pawns for his sick game, and he must be stopped. However, the good news is it's sort of already happening. We're seeing a revolt of sorts that's going on. So, in conclusion, we have seen some of the things that these soldiers are having to go through. We've seen just how deep and how sick it really goes, and we've looked at some of the solutions that we can use in order to repair them and to stop this from happening in the future.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.